going, folks? This is Wayne R, back with another lesson, and this is part 2 on our blues in the key of an A. So last lesson we were talking about a 1-4-5 chord progression in the key of an A. I've actually played over a recording of that, you know, the exact chords that I showed you last week. So today we're going to be looking at a scale, the blues scale initially. So I'm going to split this lesson into 2 halves. So this lesson I'm just going to show you the scale, going to show you where the root notes are, show you how the scale works over the top of the backing track, and then in the next lesson, the follow up to this, I'm going to show you some licks and some things that you can actually do with the scale. So watch this space, that lesson will be coming soon, but today we're just going to be talking about the scale. Okay, so thanks for your continued support. Thanks everyone who's subscribed and continues to do so. Now, if you are subscribing, you haven't done already, a further way you could help me out and yourselves out is by hitting that little notification bell that's just underneath the video there. I've got the Patreon thing. There is something coinciding with these lessons up on there. You got the 1-4-5 chord progression. You got the blues scale on there as well. That's going to coincide with these lessons. So part 1, part 2, which is this lesson, and then part 3, which is going to be, you know, showing you the licks that are going to come from this scale, as well as all the other stuff that I put on my Patreon page, you know, the normal things, chords, lyrics and strumming patterns. There's some exclusive videos that aren't on YouTube. There's some videos there from the archive. So what you're waiting for, there's a link in the comments, a link in the description. Click on that link, sign up for as little as a couple of quid a month. If you don't want to do that and you'd like to help me out in a different way, show some appreciation, I've got a new feature which is a super thanks link. You'll find that just underneath the video there. You can click on that, make a small donation. Again, very much appreciated. And if you want to, please go over and give me a like on social media. So I'm Wayne R Guitar on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now also TikTok, as I always say. I'm trying to get down with the kids. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so I'll just point out that my guitar is in standard tuning for this lesson, and also the last lesson where we looked at the 1-4-5 chord progression. Okay, so what I'm going to show you first, I'm going to show you the pentatonic scale and explain the mechanics of that, how that works, and how that works over the top of that backing track, or those chords that we looked at in the last lesson. Okay, so these are in the key of an A, so the starting note is the 5th fret on the low E string. If you don't know the notes on your fretboard, I did do a lesson on that not too long ago, but basically if we look at the notes on the E string, you know, just playing that open is an E. The 1st fret will be F, 2nd fret will be F sharp or a G flat, 3rd fret will be a G, 4th fret a G sharp, and the 5th fret will be an A. So that's where we're going to be playing our scale, okay? So the first scale that I'm going to show you is the pentatonic scale. So it's quite important that you use the right fingers on this as well, because what we don't want to be doing on a scale is moving us, you know, as hand up and down. So, you know, using one finger or, you know, not the right fingers. So I'll explain the fret numbers that we play and what fingers to use. Okay, so the first scale we're going to look at then, as I said, is the pentatonic scale. Now it's called the pentatonic scale because it contains 5 notes. When I show you the scale, you'll think, well, he's playing more than 5 notes there, but I'll get back to that in a minute and I'll explain why we call it the pentatonic scale. Okay, so the scale, we're going to start on the 5th fret, that A note. We're going to do that with the 1st finger. And on the same string, if you can, the little pinky is going to play the 8th fret. So 5th fret on the low E, 8th fret on the low E with the little finger. Okay, the A string, the 1st finger, is going to play the 5th fret on the A. 3rd finger is going to play the 7th fret on the same string, okay? Next string down, the D string, 1st finger is going to play 5 again. 3rd finger is going to play 7 on the same string. On the G, 1st finger 5, 3rd finger 7, exactly the same. On the B string, slightly different this one, the 1st finger is going to play 5. Little finger is going to play 8. Okay, and we're also going to do exactly the same thing on the top E string. So 1st finger 5, little finger will play 8. Okay, so if we play that scale, as I said, if you can, use all the correct fingers. So we got okay, when you get quite good at that, we can do that in reverse as well, just doing the notes backwards, descending down the scale. Okay, so it's good to practice that scale, get it under your fingers, It won't come straight away if you've never done a scale before, but you know, with a little bit of practice you can get good at these quite quickly. So, and then obviously, you know, once you get it down we can gradually speed it up. Okay, so we call it the pentatonic scale because it's got 5 notes in. So if we count the first 5 notes, we got 1 starting on the root note or the tonic note, that's the A note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that means that the next note that we play, the 6th note in the scale, is going to be the root note again. So we found another A note, and we're basically playing the same 5 notes, but we're sort of an octave higher. So what we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're on another root note, which is another octave higher, so that's also an A note. So if we pinpoint where those root notes or tonic notes are, we know we've got an A note, that's the 5th fret on the low E string, and an A note, that's the 7th fret on the D, and we've got another root note, tonic note, which is also the 5th fret on the top E string. Obviously, you know, you've got your low E string, your top E string, so whatever we play on the low E string is going to be exactly the same note on the top E string, okay? So it's quite important to work out where those root notes are. It's going to make a lot more sense in the next lesson when we start playing licks and things like that. So my advice is, obviously, if you're not signed up to my Patreon page and you haven't got it sort of visually in front of you, obviously write down where those root notes are. It's going to be quite important. Okay, so that's your pentatonic scale. Again, we're going to go 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. Okay, so the blues scale is pretty much the same as that scale, the pentatonic scale, but we've got 2 extra notes in, which are known as the blues notes. So we've got an extra note that's going to be on that would be the 6th fret, that's on the A string, and we've also got an extra note which is going to be the 8th fret, that's on the G. Okay, so if we add those into that scale, what we've now got is 5, 8, 5, 6, 7. We've got that blues note there. Next string, 5, 7, and then we've got 5, 7, 8. That's on the G. 5, 8 on the B. 5, 8 on the top E string. So what we got there now is the blues scale. So. Okay, so those blues notes are very important to blues. We don't stay on those notes long, we don't dwell on those notes, but they're good as sort of passing notes, and also sort of, you know, the nice notes to sort of bend up to, which obviously I'll talk a little bit more about in the next lesson. But once you've got that scale down, as I said, practice it really slowly, you know, going up the scale and then descending down the scale. You know, once you've got that under your fingers, a good thing to do is either go on YouTube and put an A minor backing track in or an A blues backing track, or a good thing is obviously record those chords that I showed you in the 1-4-5 chord progression lesson, the lesson before this. Maybe record it on a loop pedal, or on you can record on most phones these days. I'll give you a little example of that. I'm going to play those chords on a backing track I recorded on the iPad. I'm going to play that, it's the side on me now. I'm going to show you how that scale works over the top of that chord progression. Not doing anything fancy, just literally playing that scale over the top, and that's what you want to do to start off with. Okay, so I'm going to play this nice and slow over the top of that backing track. You can hear how all those notes fit with that backing track. When you get a bit more confident, you can go maybe a little bit faster. See how I've finished on a root note there. Okay, so obviously practice that, get those scales down, particularly the blues scale. It's also good to practice the pentatonic scale first because it's got less notes in. You know, good to just get under your fingers. But once we add those blues notes in, it adds so much to that chord progression. So hope you enjoyed that lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson. We're going to start taking little licks from that scale and adding it to the backing track, and it's going to make you sound amazing, hopefully. So I'll catch you in the next lesson for that. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed that lesson, and I'm a massive fan of the blues, and every time I put a blues lesson out I get loads of messages saying, can you do more blues stuff? So I'm really happy to share this with you. And you know, these lessons, you know, if you've never done blues before, you don't understand a 1-4-5 chord progression, you've never even looked at a scale before, you know, it's so much fun to just get the basics down. So these are like the nuts and bolts lessons of just getting the basics down of blues, you know, getting the raw stuff down, how a scale would work over a group of chords and things like that, learning about a key. And but it brings so much to your playing, and I think it's great for jamming with friends. If one, you know, friend does the chord progression, you can play the scale over the top, or vice versa. Or if you've got a loop pedal, or as I said in the other lesson, if you sort of record the chords on your phone, it's great to have a jam, just improvising, and it's great to get good on a guitar as well. You know, a lot of people see scales as exercises. Scales, you know, are what we call lead guitar, so it's amazing, you know, doing the rhythm guitar, the chords, and then playing the scale over the top once you know what you're doing with it. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just one scale position. So in the autumn, we're going to be looking at expanding on this, looking at, you know, the 5 positions to the blues scale, and then we can be all over the net doing stuff. So if you are enjoying these lessons, watch this space. So thanks very much for watching. As I said in the intro, if you are subscribed, the third way you can help me out is setting that little notification bell that's just underneath the video there, to get notified every time I post a video out. The patron thing, sorry to keep banging on about it. You want the chords, lyrics and strumming patterns to the usual lessons that I do. There is something to coincide with these lessons as well, and some of the other technique lessons that I've done. So there's loads of content up there. It's been going for just over 3.5 years now, so there's you know, loads and loads of content. There's a link to that in the comments, also a link in the description. I've got the super thanks link that's just underneath the video there if you'd like to go and check that out, maybe make a small donation. All the money generally goes back into the lesson, so it's very much appreciated. And another way you guys could help me out, this doesn't cost you guys a penny, but it's very, very effective, and it's word of mouth. So if you dig what I do, you really enjoy my lessons, please like and share my lessons, tell your friends, tell your work colleagues, anyone, you know, plays a guitar, please point them in my direction. I'd really appreciate that. So that just leaves me to say, whatever time of day it is you're watching, maybe morning, day, night, thank you very much, and I'll catch you all for lesson very soon. Take care.